I'm very sure you'll catch up. So, all right. So, yes, it's 7:11 now. And then, hi, everyone. Good evening. I am super glad to be here again. Like, it's been an amazing time for me so far. Like, from the first class on self and identity awareness, and then, moving on to the second class. Sorry. Moving on to the second class on choosing and changing a career path. And then we are here on personal and professional development. And I'm so glad. And one of the things that you would find out as we go ahead is that you would be noticing certain changes that you didn't pay attention to before. You will notice that you are reacting to things in a better and different way than you used to react to them. And then you would also find out that the way we react to things, the way we process information, is often going to be different from how the other person processes information. Are we together? So you would find out that how you are processing a particular kind of information may be way different from how somebody else is processing that kind of information. So I don't know if anybody can relate. I don't know if anybody can relate with that. Thank you so much, Joshua. Thank you very much. Right. So from the responses that I have just gotten so far, I'll just awesome. So I'm just going to say that be very, very open to catching things that you likely may not catch on a normal day. Be very open to catching things. Be open to translating or transferring knowledge. Be open to transferring knowledge from one part to another. So there'll be things that you are learning in this course. I'm glad to hear. Thank you. So there'll be things that you are learning in this course that may not necessarily, or there may be skills or knowledge that you might be gaining, and it won't just be for your career. It might be for your relationship life. It might be for, your business. For those of you who run businesses, you might have different other aspects of your life that being in this course would help you do. So you will find out how to transfer knowledge. And that's one of the things that devoting yourself to knowledge development does for you, right? So you just find out that sometimes you sign up for a course on how to network, and that's what you learn from how to network. But while you are signing up for a particular course, you also should be very, very open to understanding the extra things that are not primary, that you are also learning during the course of that course. That sounds. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm going to explain that again. Right? So a lot of times when we enroll for courses, for instance, you're enrolling for Orifunke's Canva Growth Program. In your head, what you are coming to learn is how to design with Canva. And that's how a lot of us approach learning programs a lot of times, right? You are saying, I just want to learn how to design with Canva. I want to learn how to create an ebook with Canva. I want to learn how to design presentations or social media flyers. I just want to learn how to create stuff with Canva. And that is the primary aim. That is why you're joining the course, right? But you find out that when you join the course, you would also learn other skills along the line, and you should be open to learning. You should be open to observing the other skills that you would learn when you're on a course. So you find out that you're on a course and then you're possibly learning how to be consistent. You're learning consistency, or you're learning how to relate with other people. You're improving in your relational skills with other people who are possibly in your department, because we work with departments in the academy, who are possibly in your department. Yes, okay, awesome. Who are possibly in your department, and then you possibly also learn how to use Google Drive, because a lot of the, if most of the people who join the course, most of the people who join the Canva Growth Program do not know how to use Google Drive. So when you're leaving, you learn how to use Google Drive. You know how to upload, you know how to share, you know how to, rename, and all of those things that you didn't even think that you would need, or you didn't even have any idea. So people did not even know what's Google Drive. I say, what's Google Drive? How do we do this? And so Kemi says, I learned how to introduce myself and connect with people better in CGP. I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. Amun Yelua says, yes, I learned lessons on consistency as well. Yes. So when you are enrolling for any kind of course, so when you are embarking on any learning adventure, see it as, okay, there's a primary reason that I am embarking on this learning adventure. There's a primary reason that I am taking this course, and then there are also secondary reasons I am taking this course. And you need to be very sensitive, right? It's not just, it's just career, everything is just career, or everything you're teaching me just has to apply to my career. You find out that a lot of things you'll be learning in this course are things that you can apply beyond your career. You can apply to your business, your family, your relationships, and I'm not just talking about spousal relationships, because some of you, whenever you hear relationship like this, it's boyfriend, girlfriend, but that's by the way. All right, so I am really glad. I'm really glad about this. And so once again, you are welcome. I can teach live chats now, and then I love live chats when I'm learning. So awesome. So now today we're going to be learning, or I'm going to be teaching you, or we're going to be discussing. You're basically going to be learning on personal and professional development. And some of the things that you are going to be hearing today are things that you have heard before. Yeah, there are things you have heard before. And then if these are things that you have heard before, remember from our last class, and then you just feel like, we have heard it before, then it likely means that it is still something you need to relearn, and something that you need to unlearn. So depending on the kind of organization that you work with or you deal with, there's usually a sort of department under HR that is called learning and development. Somebody type learning and development. So learning and development is, it's a function of, mostly a function of HR, and then it's the HR, it's the company caring. It's the company caring about the employees and deciding programs that the employees should embark upon so that they can achieve the goals that the company wants to achieve. Okay, yes. So now for every company thinks from a business point of view. Every single company, no matter how big or how small a company is, everybody thinks from a business point of view. So let's say as a CEO, your CEO wants business growth. He wants to be able to make more money. He wants the company to be able to make more money, right? Please, you agree with me, yes? I think it should be your network. So please just log out and log in again if the video is not loading. Please log out and log in again. Thank you. So sorry about that. So now your CEO rather, or every CEO is normally business minded, but CEOs also realize, sensible CEOs that is, also realize that money does not just come down from heaven. It is a function of the people who drive sales, who drive money into the company. So I have a company, I want to make more money. I know I can't make more money alone unless even if I am very, very popular, or I'm very, very influential, I still cannot make money alone. So they realize that, okay, we need people. We need people to be able to drive this kind of energy so that we can get this amount of money that we need. And then CEOs also realize, or a lot of CEOs, or a lot of companies also realize that for you to be able to, achieve your business goals, you do not just need to look at the people that you have. You also need to look at the strengths of your people and what your people know, and if the people can actually drive the kind of energy, or should I say the kind of income that your company needs. Are we together? So a person can actually be let's say brilliant, and then a person may be curious, a person might be inquisitive, but you also want to find out if these people are well equipped to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So what your HR does, I mean, in companies where you have the L&D department, what your that's really, please, but people can see me, so it has to be your network. If you cannot see me, please log out and log back in. It should be your network, because other people can definitely see me. So please log out and log back in. That's really weird. Please, there are people who can see me, right? Yes, please. Thank you very much, Agro Poet. So if that means it's your network. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Please, people can see me. Yes, please. Please, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Since people can see me, I think it's, please check your network again. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. All right. So now the company, that means by the company, I'm talking about your HR, your executives, your CEO, and all of those people. So what they are primarily looking at is, okay, so we have a point A. We have a point A to that we want to go to. We have this point A. That's number one. Number two, they're saying, what do we need? What do the people that we have need? So let's assume that the people we need are B, they are point B, right? So now you need the people who are B, you need the people who you have to be able to have certain skills. You want them to have certain skills that can drive energy towards your goal A. Are we clear? So in many companies, the L&D department or your HR department is focused on, okay, what do these people need? What exactly does the company need? What kind of skills does the company need? And what kind of programs can we set up for members of the company, for employees of the company, so that they can drive the energy that we need them to drive, so that they can. Okay, this is okay, please. Looks like a lot of people are having issues. Okay, please hold on. Let me see if we can fix this for everybody. Please hold on. Okay, I hear it's been fixed now. Okay, please, can you guys see me now? Can you see me now? Those of you who could not see me. Achama, can you see me now? Can you guys see me now? Victory, can you see me now? Confidence, can you see me now? Aishat, can you see me now? Looks like this will turn into bits. Can you see me now? So I am Anoluwapo. Can you see me now? I just need to be sure that people who, okay, okay. All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so sorry for the break. Sorry for the break in. Trust me, we just needed to be sure. I mean, it was so recurring, and then we needed to be sure that everybody was on board. Okay, so what I am basically trying to say is that in a lot of companies, I mean, not every company, but in a lot of companies, you have the HR really particular about what these people, know, what their people know, and if they can actually drive relevant income, if they know all they need to know to help the business or the company achieve its goals. Now that is in a that's like in the idea of, that's in an ideal company, right? In an ideal company, but you find out that in a lot of companies, and in a lot of companies where they might not exactly think about it in that line, what that means is that your professional development is in your hands. It's not in the hands of your boss or your HR. You be the one who has to focus on how to develop yourself primarily. So this is really serious. I want to believe everybody is. All right, please hold on. Thank you, Meki. Thank you, Meki and Leka. So if you notice that you cannot see me or you cannot hear me, please refresh your network, right? You can refresh your network, then you can now say, oh, I can't see or hear you. So like you can log out and then join back in. It could be in your network that is a problem. I just want to be sure that, I mean, this is not a general problem, since there are people who can actually see and hear me. Okay, guys. We want to stop the live session now and then join again, so that, I mean, we can be sure that we're clearing every issue rather from our end. We just want to like stop, and so we're going to be up and running almost immediately. We're going to be up and running almost immediately. So please, guys, bear with us. Just make sure you join like almost immediately. Okay. All right. So can you guys see me now? Sorry, see me. Yes. So I mean, people who could not see me now, can you see me and hear me now, please? Can you guys see and hear me clearly now? I want to be sure that, because it appears that it was from our end, but I'm not so. I want to be so sure that everybody can see me. Who are those people that said they could not see me before? Okay. I think it's solved now. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm so glad to hear. I'm glad to hear. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's. I mean, I want us to be Very, very, very fast. Taking a lot of time asking, can you see me? Can you hear me? All right, so now the first level of, we have, I'm going to be talking about 4 stages that you need to go through. Yes, thank you. Now, 4 stages that you need to go through when it comes to personal and professional development. And now, I mean, they are very, very similar. And then when you talk about personal development, you're talking about the learnings that you need to go through, experiences that you need to have to be able to move on or advance to the next stage in your personal life. And when you talk about professional development, you are talking about you're talking about the levels of learnings that you have to go through to be able to advance professionally. So a lot of times your personal development it can actually tell on your professional development, but it's just important to demarcate both, personal and professional development, so that you do not just try to so you're not just trying to focus on one aspect of your life, because a lot of times one mistake that many young people make is that they are spending a lot of energy on general personal development, and that's amazing. I mean, you need to keep learning if you want to keep growing, right? But you find out that they're spending so much on personal development, and then they're not paying so much attention to professional development. So they are doing well in general life, but possibly relationships with people and all of that. But you find out that they are not doing well at work. They are not doing well with respect to their careers, simply because they're not focusing on that as well. And then you also have people who are not focusing on their personal development. They are just focusing on career development. What certification should I take? What course should I take? What this should I do? What that should I do? I mean, because of course, professional development can bring you more money. So we're taking this together so you can find a good balance between, deciding this is what I want to do personally, whatever I am developing myself in, or in what area I am developing myself in, might not exactly be what I need to succeed at work, or I need to succeed in my career, but I still need to develop myself personally in this area, and I also need to develop myself professionally in this area. So Chiwendo Onuma, I want to be sure that you can see and hear me. So if you can see and hear me, please drop a comment so that I can see you. I can see that you are with me. Right. Okay, so now the first stage is the stage of analysis, the analysis of what do I need. So in our first module, in the first lesson we took, I taught you how one of the important things that you need to be able to focus on is yourself. Who am I? What makes me tick? What are my triggers? What are my interests? What are my values? Okay, I'm glad. Thank you. What are my values? What are my emotions and all of those things? So now when it comes to personal and professional development, you want to be able to analyze exactly what you need, or have an idea of the things that you need to learn to be able to achieve a particular career goal that you have. Now I want to take a quick detour, a very, very quick detour. So now, there are certain kinds of people that what would work for you is it's a detailed planning of your life, right? It's a detailed planning of your life. So you know that, in the next 2 years, I want to be doing this. In the next 4 years, I want to be doing this. So you have laid down plans. You have goals that you want to achieve, right? But for some of you, your career is going to take moves that you would not likely be able to sit down and plan. How many of us can relate? I mean, to just find yourself in a certain place, and then it's not something that you planned. It's not something that you planned. I mean, for some of us, if you or if you're asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You'll be like, 5 years, I don't know. As long as there's life, there's hope. Okay, so I wanted to mention this because some people have their careers that have started that way, and then one thing that you just find out that is consistent with those who have their careers and their lives all planned out, and those who just have their careers happen, right, is that if anybody is going to succeed, if anybody is going to succeed, they have to just be willing to learn at every stage that they are. They have to be willing to learn. They have to be willing to learn, because you might find yourself in a career line this time next year that you never even saw yourself in. I mean, you might just apply for a job, and then before you know, you're like, oh, you're already doing this thing. I'm like, that's what I do not know. I didn't know. So I'm going to, give you guys a very, very quick story. And I think I already told you guys about my story after school and all of that. But so when I started working, in the second place I worked, and then I was supposed to be a content writer for the SEO team. And SEO is search engine optimization. And I hated it so much because it was so complex. It had to do with a lot of numbers. And then I am not a numbers person. I mean, I'm trying now because I don't have a choice. But then I am naturally not a numbers person. I don't like numbers. I mean, I never liked maths. Never. So anything that has to be numbers. And then doing SEO means that you need to be able to do numbers. Marketing in general, you need numbers. So I liked the fact that I was doing content writing because I loved to write. So the ones I could do, I was just comfortable. Like, this one, I am fine. Let me just be writing gingerly, editing and all of that. So and that was how it was for me, right? So I thought I was fine. I was doing SEO content writing. I didn't mean to know SEO in details. And then after a while, after about 1 year, I found out that we had some how do I, there was a sort of gap. There was a sort of gap. So people had to leave. People had to leave the team and then move on to higher roles. These things happen all over, all the time. And then those of us who were junior had to be brought up to speed. And then we had to now learn about, I'm dragging you, sorry. We had to learn about SEO. Fam, it was a crazy period of my life. Like, I want to cry. I was like, don't die, I don't die. Some of you like numbers, that is interesting. Because it was complex to me. It was so complex to me. Like, I didn't even know I could survive. Like, I was always thinking that, then like this, I was always thinking that, they will not sack me like this because I'm like, they want to sack me by you, Mongo call. I said, they will not sack me. I don't know anything. So it was a struggle because, in fact, it wasn't something I would have applied for on a normal day. It wasn't something I would have applied for. But then I had to start learning. I had to start learning on the job. I had to be extra open about learning. Okay, so what are the courses there? Let me just start reading everything. Articles, websites, ebooks, everything. And then I had a boss who was extra open, a supervisor who was extra open to teaching me. So I was very curious. The slightest thing I'm going to ask that, what does this mean? What is this? What is this? So it helped me to grow. Now, all of this, like the transition from content writing to SEO took less than 6 months. So it's not something you would have said, where do you see yourself in 6 months? And then I would have been able to give you an answer. I wouldn't have. Where do you see yourself? so most times when you talk about so yes, Deborah. So a lot of times the numbers you get is when you are doing your analytics and measurements. It's when you're doing your analysis or when you're doing technical SEO. It's when you're doing your analysis and measurements. And then we had to do analysis and measurements like almost every day. So that's the part I didn't like about it. So I eventually, I caught up. I think in 2 months, I was reasonably fine. And then it was a lot easier. But now, you can see that I moved. If you had asked me from when I first started my career out of school, where I was doing social media management, that, do you think you would be doing SEO at some point? And I said, what is SEO? No, I don't know. But a career, let me just say, a sort of career transition had to happen from one level to another. And then I had to be prepared to move into that energy. right? I have to be prepared to move into that new level. So for some of you, your life may not be linear. Your life may be, I mean, after that, you can, maybe you studied agriculture in school. Sorry, I'm not engaging with that study agriculture, but so let's say you studied agriculture, then when you got out, you got into marketing, and after some point you got into AI. So this is one of the reasons why it is super important for you to be extra open to knowledge, and you need to be flexible. Not they did not teach us this one in school. No, they did not teach us this one in school. Which one is this one? Why this stress? Then that's not what they taught. In fact, see, one thing you need to come to terms with as a person, as a person, some of you are still undergraduates, some of you are graduates, is that your regular university education did not prepare you enough for the career world or for the corporate world. You need to come to terms with that. You need to tell yourself, they did not prepare me. Imagine that you don't know anything. Just imagine that they didn't teach you anything, right? Because a lot of people, a lot of people are very, very averse to getting knowledge. A lot of people are slow to getting knowledge or developing themselves because they do not understand that the level of education they got when they were in the regular traditional Nigerian university, the regular traditional university wasn't enough for them to advance. It's not enough, and so you need to be very, very sincere with yourself. You need to be sincere with. Okay, so Agropoi says, I studied agriculture and I am now writing. Please don't be like me. Never study agriculture for 5 years. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right? Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So you need to be sincere, because now, and this is also one of the problems that people have. You see young graduates, there are things you just don't know, and you're confident, you're comfortable, like you're not. The only thing you're doing is just to be one CV applying for 50 roles, and then you wonder why you're not getting called back or why you're not getting jobs, right? It's because you think that the education that you got is, you feel like it's so relevant enough to carry you, enough to carry you immediately after you leave school. And for most of us, if you're in Nigeria, right, I can't speak for other African countries, right, but for most of us, the most relevant thing, or there are two most relevant things that you pick from school, and then a lot of it won't have to do with your academics, right? Maybe your certificates, that's one, because some people will ask you, do you have a certificate? Yes, I have a certificate. Your certificates, that's number one. Number two, possibly the relationships. Because if I ask some of you who have been, for me now, I've been out of school for how many years? If you ask me what 1301 was, I can't remember, because most of the course, I can't remember one course that still has a relevant effect on me today. Right? That I can't say there's something that can give me a relevant effect today. I don't think do you guys understand? I don't think you guys understand. Can you guys hear me? I'm not getting any responses. Okay. I think I lost you guys for a bit. Okay, yes, so you need to come to terms with the fact that if you're still banking on your traditional education, then you still have a long way to go. You still have a very, very long way to go. I don't know what says, oh, don't worry, I can imagine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now you need to, that's the first stage, analysis of what you need. right now. So sometimes it's what you need over a period of time. Sometimes it's what you need for the immediate next level. So in my story, I knew that I was stepping into a period that I hadn't experienced before, that I had not even anticipated at all in my life. So I had to aggressively pursue knowledge, because it was going to be a case of eat and die. Like, sorry, not eat and die, of survive or die. Yes. Why did I say eat and die? It's food. It's survive or die. Right. So I knew that if I didn't survive, I wasn't going to die literally, but I was going to die figuratively. I was going to die at my career. I'll possibly get to that point where they're saying, oh, she's not relevant on the team, let's get them off. And this is happening all of the time. If your business or your company thinks that the seat you are taking in the office can be done without, then it means there's no relevance for you in the organization. Right. Okay. So we're together. So now I'm going to talk about, after analyzing the things that you want to face. All right, guys. So I believe you guys can see me now. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. So you need to be able to analyze, what you need to get to a certain kind of level. What exactly do you need to know? What exactly do you need to know? And, being very, very specific, being detailed about the things that you need to know will help you a lot. And then I'm going to mention some of the ridiculous things that I find that people do. Or not, I don't want to call it ridiculous, but there are mistakes that people often make when they are trying to learn. We often say, oh, you need to develop yourself, you need to personally develop yourself and all of the things, but all of that. But if you want to increase, something I call your learning to implementation ratio, that's what I call it. Now, if you want to increase that ratio, you need to realize that you cannot be consuming every single thing available to you. You can't. You cannot be consuming every single thing available to you. You see that, there's one course on AI. Sign up here, you are signing up. There's one course on agriculture. Sign up here, you are signing up. There's one course on this. Sign up here, you are signing up. And a lot of times you do all of these things because these courses are free. Before you take a free course, you need to sit down. You need to ask yourself, is this something I need? Right? Is this exactly something I need? Because it's your brain. Your brain is taking all of these things in. Right? Your brain is taking all of these things in. And what this means is that if you are taking in a lot of irrelevant, not because the information or the knowledge is irrelevant in itself, but it's irrelevant to your journey, it's irrelevant to your career, it's irrelevant to your personal life. Now, if you're taking a lot of irrelevant knowledge, it's going to affect the relevant knowledge that you have, and it's going to affect the rate at which you implement what you have learned. So you have people who are signing up for everything, reading everything, doing like everything like this. They're just saying, but you're not doing what you have signed up for, or you're not paying full attention to it, simply because it's available. So the fact that something is free does not mean it is for you to sign up for. You need to, it's a yoke. You need to break the yoke of FOMO. There's something called FOMO, fear of missing out. You need to break it. You know when you're trying, they're saying you need to break the yoke of bondage. You need to break it. You need to break it. Like, no. Before you take up a course, a course is going to take a while. You want to ask yourself that, okay, if this course was paid for, right? If it was paid for, would I be moved to say, okay, I want to pay for this? Because honestly, if a course, if a free course, if a free course is not something you can pay for, then I'm very, very sure it's not something you really need. I'm very sure it's not something you really need. So this is how it works, right? This is how it works. So you know there's something that you badly need. You need it. If you see somebody who has a solution around that stuff and they give you for free, you jump on it, you pay attention to it because it is something you need. It is something you know you should pay for. But when it's not something you need, you just see that it's free. They said, who did they say is coming? Who did they say is coming to come and teach us? Let's go there. Let's go. It's not something you would pay for. You won't pay attention to it because it's a sort of opportunity cost in your brain. So that's one yoke you need to break. You do not need to sign up for everything. You do not need to read everything. You do not need to be everywhere. You need to analyze exactly what you need for every point in time and create a tailored learning plan for yourself. People always say stuff like, no knowledge is a waste. Some knowledge, they can be waste, though. You say no knowledge is a waste. If you gain knowledge and you're not using the knowledge in a way you should, it's a waste. That's one of the reasons people take courses that they don't need. Course A, course B, course C, everything. And you're saying them just take it. You don't know what you can get from the course. You cannot get anything from the course. You will not get anything from the course. Someone means fear of missing out. So you need to fight against the spirit of FOMO. Let's be like, what if I don't sign up? What if they go and teach them something about my life, and then I'm not there? If it's not something you know you need, if it's not something you know you need, honestly, you will not die if you don't sign up for it. You will not die. You will not. See, all the things that you even need that you've not gotten. Have you died? You've not died. And these are things that you need. Now imagine the things that you don't need, that you are striving to get. Right? Okay, so you need to be able to analyze exactly what you need. So you know that at this stage, okay, I need to advance in my career. I'm feeling stuck. I don't know a lot. Let me just sign up for this because I need to grow. There are things I need to learn that I don't know. Amazing. So these are the courses that I need to learn. These are the books that I need to read. Not I don't want to say a lot. Not the one that you just see somebody just post one book. You just say, Shade is reading one book on what's a topic I consider boring. There are topics I consider really boring. But just say Shade is reading one book on something. Please, Shade, where did you buy the book? And see, Shade says, I bought it from Robina. So the next year I bought it from Robina. Is it something you need? Do you need the knowledge there? Are you buying because Shade is buying it? So you see, people are already talking about it. Now imagine that somebody says finance topics are boring, right? But you know that you don't like finance. Your life, you're not trying to move into the finance industry. You have nothing to do. You now see there's a YPAP finance listing. And yes, it's even important that I actually mention this here because some of you will join mentor sessions that have nothing to do with an industry you are in or an industry you want to be. You just join because let me just join. Yes, let me just join. But Kaya Washa is talking about digital marketing. It's not like you're interested though. You're not interested. You just say, let's leak. Just join. Right. So yes, you need to ask yourself, you need to analyze what exactly do I need to know, number one, right? And then what exactly do I know? What do I know? What are the things that I know? So you're able to say, okay, so these are the things that I know, and these are the things that I don't. Some of you are already catching your subs. I'm glad. Take it. Catch your subs. Catch it. catch everything. Those of you that were planning to attend digital marketing clinical. It's actually good. I mean, I'd advise anybody to join digital marketing because it's a 21st century kind of thing. But some of you go and join media, you go and join, okay, that's by the way. Right. So another thing, like still under analysis, that you want to find out, you want to divide what you need to know and what you know into two. Number one, soft skills. Number two, hard skills. So soft skills are they are skills that are often transferable. You can use them anywhere at any point. So, for example, a soft skill like flexibility is transferable and is needed for your career. So you need to be flexible enough to be able to move from one career line to another, or from one role to another, because as you in some organizations, you just find out that some of the things that you get to do are not things that you got hired for, or are not things that you foresaw yourself having. So you need flexibility to be able to undo all of those teaming new roles, new responsibilities that you get. You cannot just say, this is not what they hired me for. Of course, there's a point where you can say, oh, this is there's a point where you can say, okay, this is too much for me. But there's some points where there's some things that you just know that this is not what I should be doing. This is not what I have stories for days, but I'm not going to talk about that now. But so you just know that, okay, I mean, it might not exactly be what I came here for, but necessity demands it right now. So I need to learn about this thing. So flexibility is one of it. You need communications. You need to, both verbal and written communications. It's not just about writing it in your CV that you can communicate. Communicate is not just about talking. It's not just about saying, please bring my bag. Oh no, please take it back. We have meeting upstairs by 12. That's not just communication. So you want to think about your soft skills that are transferable. Okay, I think I need to slow down. I might be talking too fast. Right. So you want to, think about soft skills. And the good thing about soft skills is whether you are in the media industry, or you're in the digital marketing industry, or you're in HR, or you're in finance, you find out that if you want to move, a lot of times, if you have to switch, or you unexpectedly find yourself in a particular industry, a particular role that you didn't see yourself or you didn't prepare for, you can always bring in those soft skills that you already have, and you can always bring in those soft skills, and then you transfer them to your new role. So those are the importance of soft skills. I mean, you can go on Google and search for top soft skills in the world. Right, you want to find out and find out, okay, what exactly do I need? What do I need to know, right? And then so now we move to hard skills. Hard skills are the skills that get you a job, basically. So hard skills are the things that you need to know, the things that you can do that are related to the job that you need. So a lot of times you find out that your hard skills get you a job, and then your soft skills keep you there or give you a promotion. And you find out that a lot of times, I say a lot of times, because I mean, I don't want to be absolute. And you find out many times, this is one of the reasons people don't get promotions at work, even though they know how to do the job very well. And they are on that same level for years. They are not getting promotions. Why? Because they have the hard skills, but they do not have the required soft skills needed to move them up the ladder. Like, does this make sense? Does this make sense to you at all? So for you to get a job, for instance, we often say stuff like, oh, I mean, you don't know, just apply for the job. Even if you don't know anything, apply. I don't want to talk about that today, because of course I believe that you should apply, right? I don't believe you should stop. But please, if you know that you don't have any idea whatsoever about what you're applying for, please don't apply. Don't apply. The grace of God cannot do this. Don't apply. If you had some level of understanding, knowledge, or let's say experience, even if you feel like it's not a lot, and then you apply, I can still say, okay, so I mean, she still has something. But you don't know anything. Like please, pity your recruiting manager. Pity recruiting the recruiting manager, right? So a lot of times before you get a job, they'll look at your art skills. What are the things that this person can do? And that's mostly what you have on your CV. Oh, so she has done this before, she has worked on this role before, she has worked in this company before, she has achieved this before. All of these things have to do with the business, right? They have to do with the company, they have to do with the industry that you are trying to apply to. So this, they will likely just say, okay, so he has achieved so and so things before, let's bring him on board because he can achieve it. If they feel like you cannot do the job, no amount of soft skills will allow them say, oh, he doesn't know anything, but this is a mid-level role, let's bring him on board. No, I mean, for the majority of companies that they know that it's not an internship position, it's not a volunteer position, they want to pay attention to the kind of people they bring in. So that's where art skills come in. But you will now find that as you go up the ladder, you need to learn soft skills. You need to learn soft skills like, relational capacities. These things count. This is counts how you relate to people, how you talk to people. I have a friend who was telling me about, this wasn't even like a career. It wasn't like a career. Yeah, I think it was a career, but she just got a sort of promotion simply because she was usually active in company activities, right? Like those company activities that they feel like they are really, really awkward. They are unusual, especially if you're a very, reserved person. But those things count. You'll be shocked. Let's say, oh, team is going for lunch. Everybody, let's go for lunch. You'll be like, I don't want to go for lunch. Or say, oh, guys, we're thinking about going for this outing. Let's contribute to ourselves. And when you say, ma'am, I'm vigil. I'm not going, no. I'm right, but for you it's just like, when they say, okay, let's attend this. Let's not like that. Say, I'm not saying I should be following them everywhere, but say, okay, what do you think about us having a short office get together, or what do you think about us doing lunch together? What do you think about these things? All of these things are opportunities for you to show that you have relational skills with the people that you work with. But because it's not, you're going to say, oh no, thank you, fine, thank you, I'm not doing. I have to say, the way I am like this, I'm not doing any after office anything. And I actually always used to be like this until I learned better. Like, they say, oh, let's go together. I used to be like, oh, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Until I said that, see, a lot of times, I don't even know where this video can get to, but I'm going to talk. But a lot of times, the information you need to know whether you be fired or not is when you guys are talking over lunch that you find out. That's when you find out. Sometimes, because, and it's also part of visibility. So if somebody has a determining power, if they have a determining power on whether you get a promotion or not, a lot of times how they can see, people will just say, for people who have, there's the concept of sponsors in an industry or in companies where somebody who is at the top can put in a word for you. And you'll just be shocked that it's some of the little ridiculous things that you don't count that actually matter to them. They'll just be like, oh, I think I need to put Christiana in this role. Why? Because Christiana just seems likable. I know Christiana. I think I've worked with Christiana before. Christiana seems likable. Somebody said Jobberman soft skill training comes highly recommended. Yes, you can actually take it. It is free. Yes, it is free. You even have certificate. You have certificate. Yes, it's free. Right. So wonder. You don't see that there's some people who always have, every single time they know the job, like they know the job, but they're not moving ahead. You not see somebody that is like, he doesn't know the job, but he's earning more and he's getting ahead. Why? Some people have better negotiation skills. They know how to negotiate. They know. There's a lot that I had to learn, and that's one of the reasons why I actually organized this course, because there's so much that people don't know. Some people know how to negotiate. They know how to come to the table and say, oh, this is what I have achieved. in the last 3 months, in the last 6 months, in the last 1 year of me being here, this is the things I have achieved, and then this is how much I feel I should be earning. Negotiation skills, I feel I need a promotion. You know, these are soft skills that you need to learn. These are soft skills that you need to learn. So you can say that it's one thing for somebody to actually get a job, and then it's another thing again, right? This is, you know, this is like, it's part of it, right? But I've heard of cases where people get promotions, and people get promoted to certain roles based on how they embody that role. I'm going to explain. So I think it's in a book I read. I think Rules of Work by Richard Templar. So there were two guys, and then both of them were almost equally competent on that role. And then they needed to move somebody to the level of manager. And then what did they look at? They looked at how both of them act when they walk into the office. They look at how both of them act when they walk into the office, how they react to how they react. And then they decided, okay, so Mr. A, there's a certain way Mr. A walks. There's a certain way he carries his bag. There's a certain way he opens the door. There's a certain way he talks to people that make him seem like the manager. You already act the position, even without having the position. And then this other guy, this other Mr. B, doesn't act like the manager. He doesn't have the charisma, doesn't have the competence of the manager. So we cannot move him up to that level, even though he knows this work very well. Do you know how weird that is? Do you know how weird that is? I mean, and that's why we'll have, we'll have style, we have a module on styling, outlook, posture. All of those things count. Please, I want to be sure you guys are listening to me. Are we together? Yes. So, I mean, these are some of the things. So you get to a point where you're just like, I don't know why I'm not moving ahead. I'm not doing these things. I'm not growing in my role. Okay, I'm not growing in my role. And it's just the slightest things, the very basic things, like, oh, this is how she talks. Oh, she talks like this. Sometimes it's just how you talk, it's how you walk. It's how you walk. I said this on my WhatsApp status, like, I think about 2 years ago. It was about 2 years ago. And I told myself that if I want to attend any interview, any executive role, any interview, I am going to dress as if I am their boss. Not like I'll dress as if I'm their boss now, now, but but I told myself that I was going to look the part. I'm going to look the part where, if you see me, if you don't give me the job, it's likely going to be because maybe my money is too high for you to afford. It's not going to be because she doesn't look the part. I will look the part. I'm glad we're together. Yes, actually, and that's one of the things I had to learn how to do. Like, I remember the first interview that I went to that I wore heels. It was uncomfortable for me. I wish I could stop recording at this point, but I'll still keep saying it was uncomfortable. And my leg will not break like this because I don't like heels. And then I had to wear blazers, and then it was hot. It was black. It was hot. It was in Nigerian summer. You know what Nigerian summer is? So there's hot sun. I still had to wear heels. Right? And then I got the job anyway. I got the job. So it's not like I'm just saying, I got the job. But I'm just saying that it was so important. And I had like four stages of that interview, 4 or 5 stages of interviews. Yes, I had like 4 or 5 stages for that interview. And for everyone, I made sure that I kept dressing the part. Oh, this part, what are they looking for? They are looking for head of something, something, something. You see, if I see a head or something, something on the road, how do they look like? I need to look like that. I need to look the part. I need to look the part. So you can see that that's not something anybody tells you about applying for a job. You just see that you're sending CVs, you're sending cover letter, and then okay. So I mean that's I don't want to like go too far off from what I am say what I want to say, what I want to say. So yes, that is it. So these are things, soft skills that you need to learn that help you go ahead the ladder, go out of the ladder. Sometimes the soft skill is networking. Yes, I'm sorry because there's so much I want to say, but like I don't want to go out of the scope of work. So you just find out that people are going up the ladder. It could just be networking, you knowing how to network, you you knowing how to possibly show up, like the soft skills, or you being inquisitive, right? You be just being inquisitive, and your supervisor saying, she has the skill of inquisitiveness. I feel like she'll be able to work on the role, because sometimes when you get a role switch at work, when you get a role switch at work, or you get a promotion at work, sometimes, not all of the time, sometimes it's somebody taking a vote of confidence on you based on the things that you are perceived to be able to do. Sometimes it's a vote of confidence. So she has done this before, and then she should, I feel like, oh, she's inquisitive, she's diligent, she has excellent communication skills. I think she can actually deliver on this role. I think she deliver on this role. So sometimes all of these things are, they're a vote of confidence that go. You want to look at the soft skills that you have, and you want to look at the hard skills you have. You want to look at the soft skills that you need and the hard skills that you need. The hard skills that you need. So are we together? Can you guys hear me? I want to be sure you guys can hear me clearly. Can you guys hear me up to this point? Okay, thank you very much. So another hack that you can also use, in case you're asking yourself, okay, so I don't know what I need. I mean, I don't know what I should develop myself on. Okay, also is another hack that you can use is to use job descriptions to judge yourself. So think about a role. You've done self-awareness. You've gone through all of that part, right? So now you already have an idea of the kind of roles that you want. Let's say you want a role on marketing, a role on you want a job as a marketing manager. You can go on Google and search for marketing manager job description. You will see different job descriptions. And what these job descriptions do, right? They give you an idea of what you should know how to do before you can get an average job in that industry. So when you know this is an industry you want to, this is a role you want, and then you've gone on Google, you search job descriptions, and you can see that let's say like out of 3 job descriptions, most of the things that are there, you don't know them. You can't attend an interview and then they will call you back because these are things you've done before, these are things you studied before. Now you have a learning plan that you already have. You now know that, okay, so for me to be able to get a role, or for me to stand a chance to be able to get a role in this sector or in this field, these are the things I need to do. So you can write everything down. I need to know how to do this. I need to know how to do this. I need to know how to do this. And at the end of the day, what this does for you is that it gives you a plan that you can use to judge yourself. Are we together? It gives you a plan that you can use to judge yourself. So it's not going to be like you continually are not applying, or you're not getting the jobs you're applying for simply because these things they just look like, no, I don't know these things. I've never done them before. I've never even heard of them before. In fact, sometimes from job descriptions allow you to know the things that you've never heard of before, but are peculiar to a particular industry. And when you've gone through a lot of job descriptions as well. When you see some job descriptions that look like they are 5-in-1 jobs, you also know. You also know that no, I had this one. I'm going to give myself stress if I apply for this kind of role because it is beyond what I want to do. So you can use job descriptions to improve yourself. Like go and look for what are the roles. Look now in the second module that we had, we talked about having like 5 different job descriptions, right? So not job descriptions, 3 to 5 different careers that you feel you want to build in, or your career, but perhaps where you are, you love where you are, and then you just want to advance. These are questions you want to find out. Okay, so what do I want to do? For some of you who want to improve, who want to go ahead, or who want to advance, you also want to be more specific. So if somebody is your manager in the office, for instance, you can go through their LinkedIn. If they are active on it, a lot of top level executives are active on LinkedIn, but you can go through their LinkedIn and see their job descriptions. That's when you see like, this thing is hard, it's hard. But it gives you an idea. You're welcome. So it gives you an idea. So you see that somebody is managing or is lead something, whatever it is, and then there is a step that you aspire to, whether in that company or in another company in that industry. So you see their job descriptions. These are the things that they do for the company. You can list it out. You can set up your own course that you want to learn. You can set it up for yourself. So you're not just applying to this, finding this, enrolling for this, doing this, everything. You have a sense of direction. So okay, these are the things that I want to learn. For some of them, in case if they don't have their job descriptions, you can take their roles. What are their roles? You can take their roles and search on Google. If you don't find relevance, or look for synonyms, like the role. Let's say somebody is let me say marketing manager. Yes, let's say something is marketing manager. So you want to look for other roles that are similar to marketing manager. So you can take marketing manager and put on Google and put marketing manager synonyms. So you have, I don't know if that makes sense to you. So you have other roles around marketing manager, or for marketing managers that are not necessarily just marketing manager, but are very similar. So you can have marketing manager, marketing specialist, marketing this, marketing that, and then it also gives you an idea of the kind of roles you want to apply for. Because some people don't apply for roles simply because okay, yeah. So some people don't apply for roles simply because they feel dogmatic, right? And then it's something that I am also having to unlearn, right? You just feel like, what I learned is agricultural specialist, though. But there are also other roles that are not necessarily tagged agricultural specialist that you can also function in. But you may not apply for those kind of roles because you just feel like it's on agricultural specialist that I know that that's what I need to do. That's what I need to know. So that's how, you decide exactly what you want to do, what you need to do, right? And then I hope this is so clear up to this point. I hope this is clear up to this point. Okay. All right. So I hope we're together. I just want to be sure all of us are together. Now, the next stage that I am going to be talking about, thank you, Oluwatoyin. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, Namdi. All right, Abigail. Okay, thank you. All right, Khadijat. Thank you very much. So when I'm teaching the class, like I like to actually talk like we're in an actual class. If I was in an actual class, I'll possibly just ask you questions directly. So yes, thank you very much. So now the next stage that we are going to, after analysis. So analysis is stage 1. Everything we've talked has been under stage 1. And then the next thing that you want to find, that you want to pay attention to, is setting your learning goals. So you've analyzed where you're coming from, what you need, and all of that. And then you want to be able to set your learning goals. Because if you don't set goals, right, you won't know if you are growing or not. And this is one of the things I was telling my my team members at LWB recently. I was like, so that when you don't set goals, it means that there is nothing to measure your goals against. So you just get to a point, or you just get to that point where you are telling yourself, I know I'm growing, but how do you know you are growing? We don't know. Because there are no parameters. You just know, I know I'm growing. I was or you know, the popular thing we say, I have learned, I have unlearned, I have relearned. Okay. Mm, mm, okay. But because there were no goals that you had to set. So I mean, we do not even know if you were actually growing. I mean, and the funny thing, it doesn't mean you're not growing. It means you are growing. Actually, it means you are growing. It doesn't mean so. It doesn't say because, but you just will not be able to say how much you have grown. You wouldn't know what you've learnt as well. And a lot of times, that's why you have exams in school. It's not even a lot of times. All of the times, that's why you have exams in school. So you're not just learning, but at least they can say, oh, you learned, and then let's see how you learn. So it's not just I'm learning a lot, I'm learning a lot. And that's also why you always ask you questions after every session, that what did you learn? But all of us are learning, we are learning, we are unlearning, we are relearning, we are oh my God. So you need to set learning goals. And of course, you know, the age-long system, you know, setting smart goals, right? So you want to set specific goals, right? You want to set specific goals, and then, so what exactly do you, by set specific goals, I mean specific personal or professional development goals. Now, many of us are very familiar with goal setting, right? You're not just hearing about goal setting for the first time. You've heard goal setting from secondary school. You know goals are so important. But when you talk about goals and then we ask you to set goals, you just often set general goals like, oh, so financial goals, these relationship goals, you know, all of those goals. But you rarely ever set professional development goals. A lot of people set professional goals, but don't set professional development goals. You set personal goals, but do not set personal development goals. So, number one, your goals should be specific. What exactly do you need to learn? What exactly do you need to grow? What area do you need to grow in? What area do you need to, you know, develop knowledge in? What area? So, you know, of course, you have two major angles of learning. You have learning where you learn about something, theoretical knowledge, and then you also have learning where you have hands-on experience, where you're working on what you are learning, Abi. So you have those two angles. So you want to set specific goals. What exactly do you want to learn? So now you know that one of your problems is that, let's say, problem. I'm trying to look for a problem for somebody. Please, somebody should tell me their problems. Just tell me one problem that you have with regard to your career, so I can use. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Nobody has any challenge. You people are good though. So why people here? Why are you here? Okay. Okay, Sharon. Sharon says asking for help. Asking for help. Okay, so let's say your problem is asking for help. Although I don't think that's a skills problem. I don't think that's a skills problem. It's more of a should I say, a mindset, I don't want to say a mindset problem, but hey, I can see that some of you are liking the video. Please just be liking the video, liking the video, liking the video, liking the video. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take Sharon's. So now you have challenges with asking for help, asking people for help, asking for handouts, and then so that is something you're facing, and then you can map it with how it affects your career. So it means that not asking for help means that you often find yourself stuck on the same level, or you find that you're not growing, or you're not getting opportunities simply because you're not asking for help, right? So your challenge is you don't know how to ask for help. So now your major goal is to be able to ask for help, right? That's one of your that's your goal. Your goal is to be able to ask for handouts, to be able to ask for help whenever you need it. So now you want to make that goal specific and ask yourself, how specific can this goal be? Right, because if you tell me, oh, I want to know how to ask for help more, you may never ever get to asking for help. And I'm saying this from personal experience, right? I'm saying it from personal experience. So you may never get to ask for me, but then you want to say, I want to ask for help. So I want to be able to ask for help every week from my superiors at work. Or every week, I want to be able to ask for professional help from my mentors. Or every week, I want to be able to ask for professional help from 3 people in my circle. So you can say that is specific. You want to make sure that it is as specific as possible. So now you know that this is exactly what I want to do every week. I want to reach out to I want to reach out to 3 people for help, for professional help. Of course, you know the kind of help you want to, but that is it. So now the next stage, now we've dealt with, being specific. The next stage that you want to focus on also, is it being measurable? So that when you are calculating, when you're measuring your goals at the end of the day, or at the end of a period or whatever it is, you are able to know if you've been doing well or you've not been doing well. So if, for instance, you say, okay, at the end of every week, I want to ask for professional goals from somebody you consider a mentor. Let's assume her name is Titi Lokbe. So every week I want to ask for a particular professional help from Mrs. Titi Lokbe. Mrs. Titi Lokbe. Yeah, for Mrs. Titi Lokbe. Now you know that every week you should ask for help from Mrs. Titi Lokbe. So in 1 month, you should have asked Mrs. Titi Lokbe for help 4 times. I have water. Thank you. Adebayo Sheyi, yes, that's the idea. It is narrowed down so you can apply to other parts of your life. Yes. Thank you very much. Right, okay. So now, so you have please hold on. Okay, all right. So you have Mrs. Titi Lokbe. So you know that at the end of every month, you should have asked for Mrs. Titi Lokbe for help 4 times. You should have asked her for help 4 times. So when you are measuring, and you need to also have a measuring time, whether it's going to be weekly or monthly or quarterly. I mean, it's a learning process anyway, and you won't get it all right from the start. You'll fall like 100 times, and then you keep picking yourself up, so you don't get discouraged if it doesn't work at first, right? So now you know that at the end of 1 month, you should have asked for help from Mrs. Titi Lokbe 4 times. So at the end of that month, when I have a planner, for instance, I have a BMM planner, and then my friend, hey, Cynthia, she'll be so happy. It's a planner that helps me to, divide my month, plan my month or my days ahead, and then okay, so now I know that when I'm measuring at the end of the month, because I had a goal that asked Mrs. Titi Lokbe for help 4 times, I can tell if I asked her for help once or twice, I didn't meet my target. I didn't meet my goals. For some of you who would be in the session with Bukayo Ewosho, you would learn a lot about meeting targets, because he knows how to meet targets a whole lot. It's scary, right? But that's why I don't want to touch on that too much. Okay, so all right, so that's just by the way. Okay, yeah, so you will see I'm setting him up. Oh no. Okay, so yeah, so at least you can measure, right? Because you know that these are the specific things I said I wanted to achieve, and this is these are the metrics for measurements. This is how much this is what I'm going to measure myself with. I asked for help once, or I asked for it thrice or four times. I know, yes, I'm on board. I'm on track rather. So I'll tell you, yeah, I'm on track. So you want to be able to measure. Yes, you want to be able to measure whatever it is that you are the specific goals that you have. Like, and it doesn't need to be, okay, I'm going to talk about that next. But you should be able to measure, be specific, be able to measure it, even if it's just one. Even if you say, okay, so I want to learn how to negotiate. Yeah, so you want to learn how to negotiate better, and then your general goal is to learn how to negotiate better, right? Your specific goal is to let's say negotiate with 20 people per month, right? Negotiate with 20 people per month. So you know that you have to start setting up plans for you to be able to negotiate with 20 people per month. And one thing I learned about negotiation some time ago is that many times actually, one of the problems that we face when it comes to negotiation in workplace is that you are looking at it how workspace negotiation, or is negotiation. We want to negotiate rather. You are getting a job, and then but when you think about negotiation in terms of even the little things, like you went to the market, somebody calls a particular kind of shoe for you 5K, and you're like, can I get it for 2,000 naira? That is negotiation, right? So you see somebody calls an apartment for 500K. I was like, so can we get this? Negotiation, right? And then sometimes they will say no, it's not like that. Sometimes they will, but at least you are training yourself to negotiate better. I mean, that's another arc on how to negotiate better. Right? Anytime I go to the market, if maybe unless I know that the person needs this money more than I do, right? I mean, I have to negotiate. Okay, so how better can this be for me in such a way that it doesn't hurt you as well? So that exactly is what negotiation is, right? So you have specific goals, you have measurable goals, and now next one is achievable goals. I know it is good to dream big. It is important. Of course, you can't try it at a supermarket. I mean, because the prices are fixed. And then achievable. Achievable has to do with, with respect to your own personal life, right? Before you set a goal, a specific goal, and you are measuring, you have to be sure that you can achieve it. You have to be sure that you can achieve it in terms of the time. You have to be sure that you can achieve it in terms of the resources, financial, whatever kind of resources. Because if you set a goal that is not achievable for you, that you cannot achieve yourself, what that would do is that when you do not achieve it, it is going to dampen your inspiration, and it will stop you from trying again. It will stop you from trying again as much as you need to. So you know that in your life, you've never read a 20-page book, but you attended this course, and Orifunke now said you need to be reading books, reading books, reading books. You now went to take one book that has 1,000 pages. Please, you now give yourself 2 weeks. Say, next 2 weeks, I will finish this book. 1,000 pages. You've not read 20 or 1,000 pages. It's not achievable. You don't have the resources. You don't have the bandwidth to achieve that goal. So what will happen is that when you do not achieve that goal, right, it's going to make you lose inspiration, because you feel like that's when you now start say that I already finished things. But the question you want to ask is the problem that you really finish things, or is it that you just set unachievable goals for yourself? No, like, we need to actually talk about it. Is it that you really finish things? Is it that you don't finish stuff? Or is it that what you set yourself, the expectations you set for yourself in the first place, is it that it was just unachievable for you, for the level that you were at that point in time? Have you ever thought about that? Because now, see somebody who finds out that they could not read a 1,000 book, a 1,000 page book. Now you because you could not read, you just dump it. The next thing, when somebody asks you, do you read? You're like, oh, reading doesn't work for me. Meanwhile, it was just simply because you set an unachievable goal. You didn't look at your time. You didn't look at your energy. You didn't look at your bandwidth. You didn't consider other things. You just decided to just read a 1,000 page book because you wanted to read it. So now it's going to stop you from trying to achieve something else before, because you have failed it once. And you know, for a lot of people, you find out that when you fail at something once, the possibility of doing it again or wanting to do it again, it's lower. You don't want to try it again because people don't like to fail again and again. So you know that I say that you have failed at reading a 1,000 page book. Normally, you should be able to go back and sit down and say, okay, maybe reading a 100-page book, maybe it would actually do a lot for me, right? You know, and that's the point of measuring. And then you say, maybe that would do a lot for me. And then you're moving back and you say, okay, let me consider, right? Let me try and pick up a shorter book. Many times you will not say, let me pick up a shorter book. You will just feel like books are not your calling. Now I tried reading once, it did not work. Meanwhile, what was the problem? The problem was that it was just unachievable for you. And something that is unachievable for you at this moment can actually be achievable for you in the next 3 years. You know that, right? Some things can be achievable right now. Unachievable, rather. They can be unachievable because you don't have the resources, you don't have the energy and whatever, you don't have the knowledge. So they are unachievable. So now move that to in next 2 years or even in next 6 months, they are achievable. So yes, the problem might not be you. It can be the goal you have set. It can be you have. But when you say you need to dream big, right. So, and then another thing about, you know, getting yourself, expanding yourself when it comes to you know, self-development is that when you read that 100-page book and then you've read it again and then it gets to a point where you just see that your bandwidth just starts to expand a lot more. It just starts to expand like little by little. So you can see that you can now pick a 300-page book, you can take a 400-page book, you can take a 500-page book. You know, you can now expand and all of that. You can expand on, you know, your capacity, and that's why this is, you know, a capacity session, capacity building. You can see that your capacity keeps expanding because you are moving from one page to another. But when you start from 1,000 pages, when you've not even read 10 pages, you just give up because you want to read. So whatever it is that you are setting, right, you want to make sure that it is achievable. And achievable is very, very what's it called? It's relative to you, relative to the resources that you have, relative to the time that you have, relative to the stage that you have, right? So that is it about setting goals that you can achieve. So setting goals you can achieve is setting yourself up for success. If you set goals that you cannot achieve, you are setting yourself up for failure. It's as simple as that. So if you have a goal like that, that you feel like, now this is not working for me, you need to check it. Is it the goal? Or, I mean, is it you? Or is it actually you? Or is it the goal? And I feel like if you actually think about this, it would help you. It will help you, you know, care for yourself more, for your mental health. So you'll be able to start things again, even after you failed at them. Right. So now the next thing that we're going to talk about, and then this is very, very similar. I mean, I consider them really, really similar. And then it's realistic goals. We want to make sure that a goal is realistic enough for anybody in the world to even achieve in the first place. So you know that some things might not be realistic. Like some goals might be realistic goals, but may not be achievable for you. Right? Some goals might be realistic, and there are some goals that are very unrealistic for everybody, for me, for you, for everybody. So for this kind of goal, you want to find out, is this actually reasonable? Is it a realistic goal for even anybody, right? So that you're not going to say that this goal, you not basically set yourself up for failure. I can see that people are actually giving tips on how to do better with reading. That's amazing. You guys have an amazing sense of community. That's really commendable. Right. So yes, is it realistic? Like, is it possible? This thing you want to do, is it possible? So see, it's only with God that all things are possible. Sometimes with human beings, a lot of things are not possible. So you need to pay attention to that as well. And then the final T under, setting your learning goals is time frame. Always set your goals with a time in mind, right? So if Sharon says, I want to be able to ask Mrs. Titilope for help 4 times a month, there's a time frame she can work with. It's a month. If she says, I want to be able to ask Mrs. Titilope for help, there's no time frame. She cannot measure that. She cannot measure her growth. She will just find out that she has goals that she's carrying. Some of us carry over goals. Don't worry, I'm not shading anybody. I'm not shaking any table. I'm being nice. But some of us carry over goals. You're carrying goals. Last month I said I would do this. So you're carrying over. And then it's not like you're even sitting down to look at the goals and see, why didn't I achieve this? You're not doing any analysis. You're not doing any reflection, any review. You're just carrying over the goal, carrying over. So you want to set time-based goals. And something I learned from DDK, some of you know, Debola Dejikurumi, is that it is a lot better to set goals by quarter, like for 90 days, January to March, April to June, 3 months. And what doing this will do for you is that it's short enough time for you to, achieve stuff, and it is short enough time for you to fall down and rise again. Right? So for instance, if you set a goal for first quarter of the year, January to March, and then you did not achieve that goal, because it's a first quarter, because it's just a first quarter that you set that goal for, by the time you're moving into the second quarter, it is easier for you to pick up that energy. Do you understand? Like, because now it's just first quarter, it's just 3 months, it's so easy for you to pick up. But imagine that you now set a goal for the whole year. Then the only time you get to review those goals is at the end of the year. By the time you are starting all over again, you likely would have lost inspiration, because you're like, I didn't even achieve it last year, because it was too long a time for you to achieve that goal. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me clearly? So it was too long. It was too long. Oh yeah, thank you for calling my attention to that. A call came in, so Okay. So I'm going to quickly take that again, since you guys missed part of it. So now what I was trying to say is that, now imagine you set a goal for the first quarter of the year. if you don't achieve that goal, or you achieve part of the goal, or you don't achieve all of it, it's easy for you to rise again. Why does that sound so funny to me? It's easy for you to rise again when you are getting into the second quarter of the year, because it's a short time enough to. So imagine that you. How do I want to put this? Right. You have a normal table, right? You have a normal table, and then you're standing on that table. You're standing on that table, and then you fall from that table. It is easy for you to stand up and get back on that table, because that table wasn't so high in the first place, right? Now imagine that it's a building, and you fall from the building. It's going to be tough. In fact, that's if you're even still alive, but it's going to be really tough for you to start to climb up that building again. And that's what a lot of us do when we set yearly goals without breaking them into quarters. Do you understand me? Like, so when you set quarterly goals, or when you set, even if it is a lot of times now, so when they advise you to set quarterly goals, is because monthly goals are amazing. I set monthly goals, yes, and then you can set by two months. That's how you can do weekly. That's amazing. But at least it's just like an average. By the time you set for over a period of 90 days, it's easy. Even when you fail, it is easy for you to wake up, and it's easy for you to stand up than when you set a goal from January to December and you don't achieve it. You're not like, where do I want to start from again? From the beginning to where do I want to start from? And that's why if you work in reasonable organizations, okay, no, I don't want to say reasonable, but if you want to get a lot of I don't want to say reasonable. What should I use? But let's just say a lot of corporate organizations, they have your regular KPIs. There's this thing, appraisal. Yes, they have appraisals quarterly. They try to see how have you done. They don't measure you. A lot of times they don't measure you on a monthly basis, because sometimes 1 month may be too short for you to achieve something. So they measure you on a quarterly basis, because it's like an average time. So you can see. That's why, I mean, if you've been in that kind of setting before, you know that it's on a quarterly basis, right? So it's January to March. Okay, how did she do? Oh, she did very, very well in this period. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, and then they use it to also gauge your progress. So they know that if in the first 3 months you didn't meet a particular target or goals that they gave you to achieve, they can now ask you, okay, so are there things that she still needs? Does she need a learning plan? Does she need a learning plan? Does she need yes, organization with structures? Does she need a learning plan? Or is the work too much for her? Is it too overwhelming for her? Are we doing too much? Are we placing too much burden on her? Or is she just being lazy? Or, is she just being lazy? So these are things, right? And this is what quarterly appraisals often do for organizations, a lot of organizations with structure. So you can set up your life in that manner. So okay, so even if I don't work and if I don't fulfill certain things in first quarter, then I can still pick myself up in second quarter, because it's short enough for you to fall and rise again. Are we together? Yes, they also use it to reward you. Yes, Chumoke. They also use it to reward you, and then they find that after 6 months they are still not doing anything. They likely will let you go. So, okay, all right. So now the next thing, that's on the second stage. The next stage that you want to consider is your learning methods. You want to consider your learning methods. How best do you learn? Now, I want to just make a disclaimer before we go ahead. And the disclaimer is that for everybody, right, you will not just be able to focus on one kind of learning. You will need a combination of different kinds of learning methods. So don't just say, this method doesn't work for me. I don't learn, but I'm not going to do this. This one doesn't work for me. I'm not going to do this. Do you understand? So you want to know your learning methods so that you can effectively learn faster. You can effectively grow faster. And there are different learning methods. So people really do well by reading books, by reading articles, white papers, different stuff, they learn a lot by reading. Right now, if you do not primarily learn by reading, let's assume that you're an audio person. Let's assume you're an audio person. You don't like what it means is that that kind of person would be getting better results in a short frame of time, but you will not get as much results as that person is getting. Why? Because that is not your primary mode of learning. And I think this is one of the reasons many students fail in school. It's not your mode of learning at all. It's not your mode of learning. So you want to find out what works for you primarily. You know that, of course, you'd be able to combine it with other methods of learning, but you want to know what primarily works for you. So it's like a strength for you. So imagine that somebody does very well with books. They can read books. They get a lot from books. But you know that if you read one, you'll be reading one page like 100 times. It still will not sink in. But if you just happen to hear it, it sinks better, right? So you know that for that kind of thing, your primary learning method might be through a podcast. You may want to do podcasts, or let's say audio books. So while this person is learning as much as they can in a frame of time, in a time frame, you are also learning as much as you can in a time frame. So you want to find out what works for you. You have to sit down and say, what learning method works for you? Is it watching videos? Some people do videos a lot. Is it watching videos? I mean, taking courses? Is it reading books? Is it taking podcast and all of that? So there are different modes of learning. There are different methods of learning. Reading is one of them. Another one is videos. Videos are one of them. I'm seeing your comments, so you can keep the comments coming in. So videos are also one of them. Other videos, you have regular YouTube videos. You have video courses as well. At this age at time, it's almost impossible to do without video courses, right? So video courses, you have audios, you have your podcasts, you have text to speech. There are tools that allow you to translate text to speech, so you can hear what the person has written. Then another mode of learning is coaching and mentoring. Yes, so some people, if they read, or watch a video, will soon be done anyway. But if they watch a video, they won't learn anything. They may not progress as fast as they can when they have somebody who is telling them, this is what you should do, this is what you should do next, this is what you should not do, this is how you should fix this. That sense of guidance, that mentoring, that coaching. So some people do very well. Some people do not need coaching. They will work on whatever it is that they want to work on. They will be fine. They don't need coaching, right? So another thing you want to focus on is peer-to-peer reviews. Yes, that's another learning method. And somebody already mentioned learning via interactions. Yes, some of you, from school, you had all those departmental stuff where you guys come together, you discuss about certain courses, and some people don't read, but they just need to attend one of those group meetings once before exams, and they'll pass the exam. And if they tell you they don't read, you tell them, no, that's a lie, you are lying, you read. Meanwhile, those guys just need to be in places with people talking about certain things, and it sticks in their brains. Right? So you want to find out if that is a way. Yes, amazing. You want to find out if that is primarily a way that you learn. Peer-to-peer reviews. You have learning by interactions. You have discussion groups. Some people learn very well by teaching what they know. Some people learn by teaching what they teach you what they know once. It sticks in their head. They will never forget. That could be your mode of learning as well. So you want to learn, and then you also want to teach what you know, because it also helps you get better. Some people, I do not believe that teaching what you know necessarily means that you will know it better. I mean, that's like the general idea, but I don't think so. I don't think it works that way for everybody, right? So yes, so people learn by doing as well. So once and I'm coming back to that actually. I'm coming back to that. But yes, so people learn by doing. So how best do you learn? Do you need to attend conferences, right? Do you need to attend seminars? What exactly do you need to learn? Yes, tutorials. And then sometimes some people learn by job shadowing. There's something called job shadowing, and it's something you may also want to consider in your, as you move ahead in your professional endeavors. So job shadowing means, observing somebody who is doing a particular role, or taking up a particular job, doing a particular job, observing them and taking lessons from them without them knowing, without them directly mentoring you or giving you orders. But you just see, oh, this person talks like this. Oh, this person, she wakes up by this time. Oh, this person, she puts, that's what she does. Oh, this person, when she's pressured, this is how she reacts. Oh, this person, when she, it's job shadowing, and it's one of the ways some people learn. So people learn just by, once they see you, they've got it. Right? Once they see you do something, especially they now see you do it consistently, they've got it. So if you have somebody like that in your organization, they may not be in your department, they may be in your department, but you will find out that you may want to move closer to them. Even if you don't tell them anything, you may want to move closer to them. You may want to offer to do stuff for them that has to do with their work. Oh, can I actually assist you with this stuff? Do you need help? And they say, no, I don't need help. Oh, do you need help? So you're basically there. And what you're doing is you're learning, you're taking ideas from what they're doing. They're doing this, because a lot of times some things work by principles. Yes, many times some things work by principles. So if somebody is doing this thing like this, then you can say, if this person is doing this thing like this and they are getting this kind of results, then it means that I can try to also do this thing. It might be different from me, but I might stand a chance of getting the same results. So some people learn through job shadowing. You just need, even if it's not offline, even if it's online, there's somebody that you feel like, oh, they do this, and then I want to job shadow them. I want to see I want to watch closely how they work. I mean, it can be online, it can be offline. Right. Yes, so Nnamdi Francis says, people can actually learn well through all the learning methods. It just depends on what is being learned at a particular time. I agree. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. I agree. So Adife says that's the first time she's hearing of job shadowing. You're welcome. Okay, all right. So now let's move on to the next stage, and it is what I call the learning to implementation ratio. And what this means is the rate at which you put into practice what you've learned. Because you can learn everything in the world, but the proof of knowledge, like I've said it again and again, the proof of knowledge is in action. So you want to sit down and say, what is your learning to implementation ratio? If you are learning about negotiation, how exactly are you going to? So if you're learning about negotiation, how can we decide that you have actually learned negotiation? How can we decide? How can we say you have learned negotiation? Doesn't mean you're going to negotiate with more people. Are you going to calculate that based on the number of negotiations you make or the results you get from negotiations? So you want to have a learning to implementation ratio, and that's why we've been giving you action plans. So when we taught you, when you learned about self-awareness, we didn't just say, oh yeah, just go. We gave you personality test. You took a personality test, right? You got an action plan. Write out the action plans you've gotten from this lesson. All of these things are to improve your learning to implementation ratio, so that you're not just learning. Because I don't like when people learn and they don't practice. I don't like it. See, I've been talking for 2 hours now. Now imagine that you don't. Okay, that's by the way. But imagine that you don't practice everything, and I'll be talking for 2 hours. Think calm. So, right. So so now you want to write out action plans. If I am learning how to do this, what are the action plans? Or if I want to learn this, so what are the action plans that I need to have done? So if I am reading a book on, let's say I have a book on starting a successful business, what are the action plans that I am going to get from that book on starting a business? So if I learn something on branding in the book, what am I going to, what action plans can I draw from that lesson on branding? Can I write them out so I know that, okay, I'm learning something on branding? Then they're telling me, oh, set up your social media pages. That's an action plan. Talk about your business once a day. That's an action plan. And that's how you're able to develop goals that you can also measure, in case you feel like, oh, I don't know what goal to measure. I don't know what, that's also one of the ways that you are able to measure, because your learning to implementation ratio is important. It is very important. In the workplace, it is important. So you are learning, and then, especially in the workplace that is very rapid, you don't have 3 months or 5 months to be learning one thing, right? So as you are learning, and that's one of the ways to also learn very fast and to increase your learning to implementation ratio. As you are learning, I need to trademark that word. What do you guys think? But then as you are learning, you can create action plans immediately. The way you have this course, don't wait till lesson 8 before you now compile and say, what are all the lessons I learned from this course? No, you don't wait till lesson 8. Every single lesson you learned from every module, try and convert them into action plans that you can do immediately. Right? Try and do them immediately, because the faster you do certain stuff, the easier it sinks with you. Right? So when you do something immediately after you learn it, it sticks better than when you wait after a period of time and you don't learn it. So that's stage 4. And then the last and final stage is stage, the evaluation stage. And it's very similar to what we had in the first period, in the third stage, but it's super important for you to be able to measure, evaluate your progress, right? It's in evaluating, okay, so when I tried this learning method, these were the things that I learned, right? Or this was how I was able to do certain stuff. Okay, so when I tried this method, these were the results that I got. Or when I did this thing immediately after I learned them, these were the results that I got. You must be able to set up personal evaluation parameters for yourself, so that when you tell people, I have learned this year, I have learned, I have unlearned, I have relearned, that is not bobo. You have actually learned, because there's an evaluation process that you have set for yourself. So in January, this was what I did. This February, this was what I did. And one of the ways to evaluate yourself, or to set up an active evaluation practice, or an active personal evaluation practice, is for you to do it on a weekly basis. You can do it at the end of every day. You can do it at the end of every week, where you just think about, okay, so what are the things that I actually achieved this week? Or at the end of every month. I often say at the end of every week, because I'm used to the regular reporting system where you send reports every week. This is what I did this week. This is what I'm going to do next week. So it just helps you to grow better. It helps you to fix things that need to be fixed before they get totally bad. Right. So Esther says, I like the vibes the person there with you is giving me. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. All right, so you want to have an evaluation process for yourself. At the end of every week, I'm going to decide, I want to sit down. These are the things I learned. These are the things I should have done. Or at the end of every month, or at the end of every day. Every day may be too far, but it's something I actually reflect on every week. I just say, okay, this week, this was what I did. This week, I didn't do anything. I didn't achieve anything. Like, I was just sleeping like a goat. Okay, I know that next week, I want to work better on sleeping, because the previous week I was sleeping too much. And that's one thing that evaluation does for you. It allows you to know what you've done wrong, or things you're doing wrong, before they get bad. Right, so we have come to the end of today's lesson, and oh, how has it been for you? Let me hear from you guys. How has it been for me? It's been an amazing 2 hours from my end. It's been an amazing, like, I feel like Virtue has left me. Virtue has left. Okay, so let me hear from you guys. How has it been for you? How has it been for you? And anybody who has any questions, if you have any questions, please drop your questions so I can quickly answer them within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Within the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then after this period, after this class rather, your YPAP representatives will open your orbs briefly so that you can engage with other people. Thank you, Kemi. Thank you, Esther. Thank you. 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 And please don't forget to, go on Twitter. If there are any lessons that you've learned, go on Twitter and then share your lessons, and then use the hashtag YPAP with OL. Today, I was thinking of, should we do giveaway? Let me just say, okay, how do I know that people have? Let me just go and look through the hashtag and see the people that do giveaway for. I was like, okay, no, let me not do that, so that it's not look like I'm an unfair judge. You know the unfair judge, right? Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for your warm responses. I'm so glad. Thank you, Olufemi. Thank you, Namdi. Thank you, Faiza. Thank you, Utman. Thank you, Adewumi Adekeye. Thank you, Ogumade Daniela. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, everybody. So there are no questions. You would have questions. Hey. Oh, AgroPoet. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your health. How are you feeling now? I hope you're a lot better. Yes, you have been missing all the while, Aishat. Okay. So I think everybody's fine now. I think everybody is fine. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I am really glad to hear. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I am I'm so glad that we're doing this. Emmanuel Owolabi says, about applying immediately. Sometimes I notice I get burnt. How should we approach the practice of new knowledge so that we don't get it by inexperience? Let me take that again. So about applying immediately, sometimes I notice I get burnt. How should we approach the practice of new knowledge so that we don't get it by inexperience? Now, what I would say about that is that the only way to conquer inexperience is to actually do what you've learned, right? And you need to be comfortable with being inexperienced and doing stuff because you want to conquer it. I don't know if you understand me. So if you are saying that, I want to do this stuff and then I'm not experienced at it, so I'm not going to do this stuff. So how exactly are you going to gain experience? How exactly will you gain experience in that area? You won't gain experience. So you want to be open to actually failing in the quest for gaining experience. The only way to gain experience is to keep doing in the point where you are inexperienced. So how do you approach the practice of new knowledge so that you don't get this by inexperience? You do what you have learned till you get experience. That's it. Olufunke says, Emmanuel, please let me know if I answered your question, and if I did not answer, maybe you'd have to phrase your question in a better way so that I can respond better. Olufunke Ogunwale says, what do you do when you struggle with the application of what you've learned? What do you do when you struggle with the application of what you've learned? So one of the things that you can do if you struggle with the application of what you have learned is to break it down into action plans in the most basic, simple form, like the simplest form. the simple, like the most basic form you can think about. You need to break it down. So you might be struggling with application of what you've learned because you've not broken them down. So you're trying to apply so much when it's like you give birth to a newborn baby now. You have a newborn baby. You just gave birth to the baby last week, and then you are giving the baby amala. You want the baby to choke. Well, so why do you think people move on from giving babies water? You give baby water. You say breast milk for some months. Before you now start giving the baby baby food, then before you not think, okay, you're already this age, you'll be eating amala or eba. I think eba is even worse. Imagine giving a newborn baby eba. So it might be that you are taking in too much and then you're trying to do too much. So break it down into breast milk level. Break whatever thing you learn down into breast milk level so that you can start taking it from there in the most basic form. Yeah, I hope I answered your question, Orifunke. I'm not doing any giveaway, at least not today. Okay. Emeka, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's interesting how I can actually recognize names. Like I can recognize names I'm seeing over and over again. And I mean, I find it really interesting. I can recognize your names. So I am so glad. I think that would, okay. All right, so I think we don't have any questions anymore. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you very much for joining. So see you in our next class. You guys are going to have it's a pre-recorded class tomorrow on career clarity for multi-potentialites. I mean, for those of you who feel like, I want to do everything in the world, I want to do A, I want to do B. So it's going to be a pre-recorded video that will be shared with you, right? So we don't have any class tomorrow, but we have a class on Thursday. So as usual, please make sure you come on board. I'll be glad to see you. So all right, guys, take care. Have a good night or have a good day in case you're outside my time zone. So thank you very much and good night. Bye.